I'll go on to the collection building stuff now, which I'll set up in Illustrator, and I'll just talk about a couple of different models that you can use. So collection building. Actually, let me go up to the top. We go to this one. I'll just go straight up to the top. So you can have, so there's two that you can use. So you can have I'm going to give you two. There's a showstopper model, which is a bit more involved. And then you can also use an ensemble model. So I'll go for those two. Those are two main ones. But I would say that when you're putting together ideas for collections, how to create the cohesion, you can take inspiration from other art forms. So I can't spell. So you can look at film, stage, music, things like that. So thinking about how these things take form. So with poems, for example, you can have things like ABA, songwriting. You can have the hook, which is the bit that brings it all together. You've got the different verses that tell different aspects of the story as it moves through. And the same thing with musical forms as well, like 8-bar blues. It's just ways of organizing and presenting what you want to say. So I'll talk about the showstopper model, and I'll just come back down here. And so what you want to do with the showstopper model is to have a showstopper, unsurprisingly, that pulls it all together. So what I'm going to try and draw for you now, I'm going to draw a kind of coat. Let me just get this back on the default. And this is just going to be, and what you want from a showstopper is something that just makes people stop in their tracks, basically. It's the one that you put in the shop window, and it is the thing that goes on the magazine cover. It's just big and bold and completely unashamed of itself. It just commands attention, really. So you could, if you wanted to, you could have a kind of jacket or coat. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be what you actually use. And also, it's where you just go for something that demands a lot of attention. If it was a ready-to-wear garment, it would be the most expensive thing. It would be something that you don't have to sell a lot of, or that you don't expect to sell a lot of. But because of that, you make sure that you can make your money back very quickly on it. So relating this to knit, this could be something that was really stupidly expensive, like a K facet tunic, for example, that takes a lot of yarn and a lot of time. It's something that is really beautiful, but as one of my past students said, who's going to knit that? It's that kind of thing that just pulls people in and looks really beautiful and inspiring to them. So if you wanted to have a show-off kind of piece, then this is the thing to do. You're just looking to get people's attention with it. And so you can just be as loud and as bold with color as you want. So we're going to get a big floral coat. I'm just going to add a bit more here. And it's the kind of thing, someone will wear it. Not very many people will wear it, but it will be enough to just get people in and think, oh, what else is there? So from a design point of view, this is a good way to stretch yourself and your imagination if you tend to go for understatement or understated pieces. Just allow yourself to just run wild a little bit and imagine, what if. So I'm just going to put some pockets in here. And yeah, let's have that. Yeah. So it's just really big. But this is the thing. It's not that nobody would knit it or you have horrible taste if you do. It's to show percentages. It just goes boom. It is unashamedly a floral coat. But this is what the showstopper does. People are going to have a very quick emotional response to it. So it's there to command attention and let people take notice. It's the star of the show. Like I said, shop window. If it was a cast of stage and screen, this is the lead character. It's not necessarily the most popular one, but it's the one who takes up the most space and is unabashed about it. Not necessarily obnoxious, it's just the star one. So that's the showstopper item if you build your collection like that. This is what the showstopper does. If you start from a point where you've just gone all in and not held back, you then need to think about the people who like the idea of it, but either wouldn't knit it or think, oh, that's really nice. What if it was a little bit different? This is where you start to have offshoots from that showstopper to make the idea more accessible. So what I've got here, so I've got flowers, I've got little frilly trims here, I've got little frilly trims on the welt pockets, etc. And so what you do with this is that you take the details that you've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at, and then you just explore them and develop them in a more toned down way. And there's 4 main outlets that you can use, or categories of clothing you can create for this. So if I go up to the top left corner even, I'll use this one here. And then you want your essentials piece. This is the one, okay, I will label them all afterwards when I finish drawing. And so the characteristics of the essentials is that they're a classic piece with a key detail or nod to either a trend or a design detail of the showstopper. So because the showstopper has got so many details in it, you can develop lots of different ideas here. So if one of the characteristics of this is a classic piece, we can just go for a jumper. So here's a crew neck. I know I've just been talking about collars, but this is just one example of what you could do with it. It can be any kind of style you like. You just have to be a bit more selective about what you choose to pick out from the showstopper. So I'll just do, yeah. Jumper here. And so one way that you could do the essential is that, you know, a lot of people like a classic jumper, but what if, for example, you put flowers on it? Maybe not so big as the ones in the showstopper, but there are flowers and you can arrange them in a kind of pattern if you want to, as one option. If I go up here and look at another, even though I haven't coloured in the flowers, you could then use those ones to create stripes based on the colours in the flowers there. And you can also, you still have free rein to experiment with silhouette, etc. as well. So you could do stripes, and then you could do maybe flowers, try to make them more like flowers and not scrambled eggs, apologies, and things like that. So already you can see from here that it's got connections to the main thing, but it's not quite as in your face. And again, if you've got people around you that you can ask for feedback, you can just say that eternal question, would you knit this? And that is, and again, just collect lots of different opinions on that. So there we are. So that's another idea that you can have as an essentials. So the key to it is to make it so that it's versatile and easy to style, for example, as I have with these ones here. So you've got that classic shape, but the pattern is the thing doing the talking. So I put the flowers on this middle one here. You could leave the sleeves plain. It's just taking one detail and then just stretching it as far as you can. And this is where sometimes the elements and principles can be really handy, because you can then change the scale. I mean, I've changed the scale here immediately. I said I made the flowers smaller and they're already less overwhelming. I've taken the color that doesn't exist yet and turned it into stripes. Again, it's just, you know, it's more, it's a less is more kind of thing. If I do another one up here, then I could do a tank top and then just have a little trim or frill around the armpits. And then also, you know, the neckline is an opportunity as well. I could do that there. And yeah, I could leave it like that if I wanted it to be understated. The point is that it's just got a little something, not too much. And if you didn't want to do this with knits, for example, then you can always bring it in with the styling again. You can show, if it's not an essentials piece you want to design, you can show how it can be worn with an essentials item in the wardrobe, like a white shirt or a pair of jeans, that kind of thing. Stuff that people are just going to have, for example, in a capsule wardrobe, that they're always going to be looking for things to put with. You can design a knit that will go with those ubiquitous wardrobe items. So that's the essentials bit of the collection building. Okay. I will zoom out of all of these so that you can see how it all works together, but just bear with me as I draw. So I can't draw on that smaller scale. Okay. So the next one, so I'm just going to go across to the top right this time, is the statement piece. And this one is where you have items that have got a kind of edge or something bold or out of the ordinary. They call attention to themselves, but they're not quite as ostentatious as the showstopper. And the key to this kind of item is making them either easy to style or targeting at a certain kind of knitter really accurately, if you know your audience really well. So a statement piece, we could do a shawl. That could be the kind of thing that you do. So let's see. So how can I do this? So you can have a shawl that has got a flower kind of trim. So makes a statement because it would be a top layer for somebody, but it's not as big an investment as the coat, for example. It does cover the entire top half, but it's not as involved a project. It's not going to take as much wool. It has that feeling of safety because, you know, it's a triangular shawl. It's a very basic kind. And of course, you could do other kinds of larger accessories as well. It doesn't have to be a shawl like I've done here. You could do a poncho if you wanted to. What else? You could do a really large kind of stole or wrap. So let me just put that here. And then again, let's see, let's have some stripes. I think let's have some tassels. I haven't used tassels yet. So it's really just letting thinking about embellishments. Embellishments can be really useful for this type of thing in a collection, because if you're looking at the essentials, you don't necessarily want anything too brash. You want to play safe, but still give people a way in that has a little bit of swagger, because some people just dress conservatively and that's fine, but that doesn't mean that but conservative doesn't have to be boring. So on here, I'm just going to use something similar to the one of the jumper options that I had before, because someone, you know, they might not like the idea of the jumper, but a scarf might be okay because it's safer. And sometimes people are just are not brave. It depends. The idea, one of the you know, benefits of designing collections like this is that it forces you to create something for everyone. So even if you might favor a particular type of garment or a certain kind of, you know, brightness or pattern, there might be someone who likes it but is a bit like, I'm not too sure, and then you can offer them something else. So that's the statement piece there in that corner. I will go back and label these as well. So the next